Hi, I'm Paul Brodie. We're back in my shop and it's new bike day. Mitch behind the cameras and I have a story. I'll start at the beginning. In March of this year, I was at Tommy McFarlane's shop. He lived in Langley and he had a great collection, and then he also had a room where he had old bikes, and I like to poke around in there, see what he's got. He's got a bunch of Tiger Cub stuff, but he never sells anything. Anyway, there was a B25 in there, a BSA 250, and I looked at it and I kind of liked it, and I thought, I'd like to have one of those. So that's where the seed started. That was in March of this year. So like I said, he doesn't sell anything. So I was looking on Marketplace, and there was just nothing there. So in August at the Trev Dealey Museum, they had a show and shine, and I took my Cub down there, and I thought, there's a possibility I can find a BSA 250 there. So I show up there. Outside the front door, there's 6 bikes in line. They've all got price tags on them, and there's an orange BSA 250. It's got a price tag on it of $2,000, and I thought, that's not so bad. So anyway, I talked to Brent. He's the curator, a director there. And we sat in the sunshine because it's outside in the parking lot, and we talked about the bike. He didn't have the registration, but he did have a key. So I said, well, I'm going to have to get registration and do paperwork and all that. Are you open to offers? And he said, yes. And I said, well, if I offered you $1,500, would that be too low? And he says, no, that's fine. So we shook hands in the parking lot, and that really seemed like a done deal. And then he said, but inside there's another BSA 250, and it's a lot nicer. And I said, well, we better go have a look at that. So we went inside, and it was up on the shelf. They got a lot of bikes. They got something like, don't know if I got the numbers correct, something like 164 bikes, and 80 are on display, and the rest of them are just on shelves under cover. So I think they want to sell a few bikes, and the BSAs were for sale. So he said, yeah, but this one's more money. And I said, that's okay. I'm still interested because it definitely looked nicer. So I went back a couple weeks later and had cash. We did the deal. And I wanted to kick the bike over, but the cotter pin was missing out of the Kickstarter. And then when you did push down the Kickstarter, it hit the header pipe. So I was unable to ascertain if the engine turned over. I'll show you all that in a moment. So I get the bike back here, and it was a little hard to unload from the van because the front brake didn't work. So I needed a help to get it down the ramp. Anyway, the bike's in here, and I've discovered a few things about it. Now, it was restored in the early 2000s by a guy named Fred, and Fred lived in Bellingham, Washington. I knew him really briefly. He sold me some Aramaki parts, and he passed away maybe 5-6 years ago. But he was restoring the bike for the museum, so it had to look good, but I don't think he ever cared if the bike ran. So that was new information after I got the bike back. And everybody likes the bike. I think the paint job is spectacular, but there's a few issues. So we're going to look around the bike, and I'm going to point some things out to you. Thanks for tuning in. As I was talking earlier, I did mention that the front brake didn't work at all. And what we noticed on the rear brake, okay, there's a little slop in there, but okay, watch this. Is there even any brake pads in there? I don't know. I have to take the whole bike apart because it's too much of a question mark what Fred did. See this? I've been bouncing on the seat to rock the bike back and forth. This is all the seat foam. It's a nice cover, but I need new foam inside. And let's see, I'll just go in no particular order. Got a screw missing here. I took the spark plug out, and I had the bike on the ground and rocking back and forth because the engine is seized. I did not anticipate that. I really thought, and I talked to Mitch about this, I thought I'd check the oil, I'd clean the carb, I'd put some gas in it, buy a battery, put it on the rollers, and fire it up. Seems absurd that I could be so naive in a way. And so I don't know how long the engine's been seized. I think Fred restored it in the early 2000s, and then it went to the Dealey Museum, sat for over 20 years. It's inside, it's heated, but there's a possibility that Fred got this bike and the motor was seized, but he didn't care because he was only going to make something that looked good to sit on the floor. So anyway, we're going to figure that out a little bit. Okay, see here, this is the clutch cable, and where the clutch cable is situated, it's right where the steering stop is. So every time you turn left, you're jamming the clutch cable. That's not very good. And then I noticed when I look closely, see there's a dent here. So he didn't fix the dent. I think he spray bombed it. It kind of looks like a spray bomb. So he sprays over the dent, and this is nice, but if you look up here, can you see all the orange peel going over the top of the headlight mount? So not great paint. Although the tank and the side covers, I think he sent that out. That's really nice job. And then coming around here, oh look, there's a nut missing holding down the cylinder head. So after the bike came down off the second shelf and I went to look at it, I asked if I could kick it over. And Brent said, sure, but it's missing the cotter pin. See, there's no cotter pin in here. This is off the cub. I had a spare, and it looks like that's going to work fine. The problem now is this exhaust pipe. I don't think this is the stock pipe, because when you come down, oh, look at that. That's not going to work. Now, it's interesting that this comes out because in behind the pipe, look, there's piles of room, lots of room. So I bought some tubing yesterday, 1 3/8. It's just ERW tubing. So I have to make a cut, and then this has to get moved over so the kickstart can come down, and then it's going to be TIG welded. I'll braze over it, I'll sand it smooth, and then it goes out for chroming because it needs to be chromed. So that's going on, and yeah, someone didn't have the right, can you see here? It's a little hard to see. Someone didn't have the right, oh, it's really stuck. Oh, that's jammed. Anyway, it's a bolt went in there. It's not supposed to be like that. There's a few little things going on. And the fender at the back here, it looks like it got hit or something because it goes wide, so this has to come in a little bit. These are all kind of wonky, but everything else is looking good. So what I want to do now that you've seen what's going on, if I take the motor out and try to unseize it, that's going to be really hard. So what I want to do, I want to take, and the foot pegs. Mitch is going to show you a photo how the right foot peg is like way out here and the left foot peg is here. They're probably like 4 inches different. And I get, it can all be fixed. So what I'd like to do today is to take off the foot peg and take off the cover, because there's going to be a big nut in here. And I can put a socket on there and a big wrench and even a struggling bar. I'm going to take off the tank, and then I'm going to get my big acetylene torch and heat up the barrel. See if we can move the piston. That's what's happening today. I was just looking at the bike, and this is what I did. Oh, look at that. It's all loose. I don't think this screw actually goes into anything. Anyway, work in progress. That's what I say. Okay, gonna take off the peg, the cover, the tank, get some heat. Oh, this bolt's pretty rounded. And it's 3/4. Holy, is that tight? Let's see what happens. So there's no bolt that goes all the way through, and I guess it's rounded a little bit or something. I got a Whitworth socket on here. See what happens. So I'm not sure what's happening here, because it just spins. The socket's a good fit. If I knock that down, then I got access, because something's going on with that thread. Something's wrong in here, I don't know what. Okay. Oh, that one's loose. They're pretty tight. Okay, need my impact driver. Okay, screws are all out. There's a gasket. Ooh, look at that. The engine hasn't been apart for a while. Look at the sludge. Look at that. The oil never got changed much. That's a lot of sludge. Okay, so I'm going to take off the tank because I'm going to put a bunch of heat in here. I don't think there's any gas, but I'm going to take the tank off and we'll find, yeah, this nut's been buggered up a bit too. Oh, okay, that's 1 inch. And that seems to fit pretty well. So that's what I got. And then I got a big tube. I got a cheetah bar that I can put on top of that. So we're going to see how that works. Oh. Oh. Look what's... It's free. Look at that. I didn't have to put heat on it. It's free. So I couldn't get it to unseize just by rocking it, but look at that, eh? Okay, well, it's not seized anymore. That's good news. Yeah, it turns over. Okay, well, I'm done. I did not expect it just to turn over, but I guess the culmination of having ATF and acetone down for 6 days, it worked. So anyway, happy about that because I had visions of using a press, pressing the piston out and stuff like that, but don't have to do that now. So thank you for watching. Mitch and I appreciate your support. Please subscribe, buy us coffees. We'll see you next week. We got some bicycle related things happening next week. Stay tuned. Thank you.